All right, let's talk about a word you've probably heard thrown around, but maybe don't fully get: agophobia. We're going to peel back the layers on this one, move past the common stereotypes, and really get to the heart of what this condition is all about, and maybe most importantly, how people overcome it. So, let me ask you, when you hear that word, what's the first image that pops into your head? Is it someone who's, literally a prisoner in their own home? Or maybe someone terrified of wide open fields or massive crowds? Just hold that thought for a second, because we're about to see how that popular image stacks up against the reality. And boom, there it is. This is the core misunderstanding right here. The myth? It's just a fear of certain places. But the clinical reality is so much more personal and internal. It's not actually about the place itself. It's about the terrifying fear of being trapped in that place if a wave of panic hits. And that is a huge difference. Okay, so we've separated the myth from the fact. Now let's build a much clearer picture. In this first part, we're going to move beyond that idea of a simple fear and really define what this condition looks like from a clinical perspective. So here's the official breakdown. It's an anxiety disorder, and you got to pay attention to those two key words: fear and avoidance. The whole thing is driven by this intense fear of feeling trapped, helpless, or even just embarrassed by the symptoms of a panic attack. See, it's a fear of what might happen inside you, not just an external thing like a spider or a scary movie. I love this quote because it just nails it. Think about that for a moment. The fear of fear itself. That's the engine that drives agoraphobia. The absolute central terror is the potential for a panic attack to happen. That feeling of your heart racing, not being able to breathe, thinking you're losing your mind. The places and situations, they're just the triggers for that deeper core fear. Right, so this fear of fear, it doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It actually develops and gets stronger over time, thanks to a really powerful psychological loop. So let's break down how that cycle of panic really gets its grip. This feedback loop is absolutely crucial to understand because the condition literally feeds itself. It's this vicious cycle where the very actions a person takes to feel safe, like staying home, end up proving their fear right and making it even stronger down the line. It's a real paradox. So how does this whole thing work? Well, it starts with a trigger. It could be a place or even just the thought of going to a crowded grocery store. That thought alone can kick off intense physical panic symptoms: racing heart, dizziness, feeling of doom. And then comes step 3, the critical moment. You start to become terrified of the symptoms themselves. So what's the quickest way to make it stop? Step 4, avoidance. You just don't go to the store. Phew, relief. But that avoidance sends a really powerful and wrong message to your brain. See, that place was dangerous. We were right to stay away. And that just makes the fear stronger for next time. So that final step in the cycle, avoidance, that's where the condition starts to have a massive real-world impact. Let's take a closer look at the kinds of triggers people avoid, and you'll see how this can systematically shrink a person's life. I mean, just look at this list. This is everyday life, right? Taking a bus, going to the movies, waiting in line at the bank. For someone with agoraphobia, these aren't just minor hassles. They're seen as potential traps. And as more and more places get added to the unsafe list, their world gets smaller and smaller until the only place that feels truly safe is home. This is exactly how that common stereotype we talked about happens. It's the end result of this powerful cycle. Okay, that all sounds pretty intense, but, and this is the most important part, it is not a life sentence. That cycle of fear and avoidance can absolutely be broken. So let's shift gears now and talk about the path to recovery and how someone can start reclaiming their life. I think this is such a powerful way to frame recovery. It's not about becoming some kind of superhero who's never afraid. I mean, we all feel fear. It's about getting to a place where fear is just another feeling in the passenger seat, not the one with its hands on the steering wheel, making all the big decisions for you. Now, every journey starts with the first step, and the path to recovery is no different. It starts right here, getting a proper diagnosis from a mental health professional. This isn't about slapping on a label. It's about getting a clear, expert roadmap of what's really going on, so you can build the right treatment plan. And that plan usually centers on 2 main approaches, which often work best together. On one side, you have therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Its goal is to actively retrain the brain, to challenge those thought patterns and behaviors that keep the cycle going. On the other side, you have medication, which can be a huge help in turning down the volume on the intense physical symptoms, making it easier to do the hard work in therapy. Let's just zoom in on CBT for a minute, because this is really a game changer. It directly targets that feedback loop we've been talking about. It teaches you how to challenge those catastrophic what-if thoughts. And then, through something called exposure therapy, you gradually and safely re-enter the situations you've been avoiding. You're basically proving to your brain, step by step, that you can handle it. And the proof is in the pudding. This isn't just wishful thinking. An 80% success rate in significantly reducing symptoms, that's incredible. That number represents so much hope. It shows that with the right tools and the right support, the vast majority of people can break free and get their lives back. So if you remember one thing, let it be this. Agoraphobia is complex, yes, and it can feel totally overwhelming, but it is not a mystery. It's a well-understood condition, and more importantly, it is highly, highly treatable. That cycle can be broken. We've gone from the myth to the reality, from the cycle of fear to the path of recovery. So the question is, for all of us, what's the next step? Whether it's seeking help for yourself, or supporting a loved one, or even just sharing this new understanding with someone else, remember that with any challenge, really getting it, really understanding it, that's the first and most powerful step toward making a change. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.